the rumble between Twitter and Rumble this week, or
So,
X and Rumble as it's called.
for those of you who are not on the Twitterverse in our locals community, if you're not there, there was drama where, well, first of all, the week of the character, economic, financial, political assassination of Russell Brand came to a head where he finally put out an update video. It was Friday. I think it was Friday, where he says, this is what's happening. Maybe I'm projecting, but I still see the look of terror in his eyes. The guy looks like he's on the verge. But I don't know who wouldn't be facing this type of machine. And, given what he's also done in his past, he might know how people can manipulate what he's done. But he comes out, puts out a video, says, what's going on. I'm also under attack by the British government, which is trying to pass a law, like some online security internet thing. So how very convenient that some of the state media goes out and finds 4 girls that are going to say 15 years ago he did bad things to me, although he had never been criminally charged even back then. He puts out a video and says, follow me on Rumble. I don't think he said the only place, but he said it is the free speech platform. Now, Elon Musk, who it's becoming somewhat apparent. I mean, he does good work. He's an amazing person. He's an amazing mind, but he might have thin skin to some extent. He might want to be at the center of attention in a sense. He might also not want to feel like he's getting poached from by what he considers to be a smaller platform of Rumble. He might have taken it a little personally that Brand, made that video, not appreciating that, Brand is with Rumble. He's been with Rumble for a while. He put out a tweet saying it's disappointing that Russell, what was the wording? Not ignored, but didn't mention Twitter, something along those lines.
Didn't mention X when X is just as committed to free speech as Rumble.
X, and that's the part that sticks with you, Robert, and I know why. X is just as committed to free speech. I'm like, Elon, we're not stupid. You know the argument that everyone's going to raise to that. You still have Owen Schroyer and Alex Jones banned from the platform for off-platform conduct. You are much better than YouTube, but you're guilty of it at the very least with these 2 people, and they haven't all been all that good with doctors. So Elon faced a bit of an evening torrent of backlash from everybody, saying, okay, you're good, but Rumble's the best. At least that was my take. What's your take on it? What's Elon up to, and is he jealous?
Well, I mean, the core first problem for Elon is the classic example is the Owen Schroyer case. So, I represent, and my colleague Lexus Anderson represents Owen Schroyer. Owen Schroyer had his Twitter account removed. Even though he's requested reinstatement, they've refused to grant it. He was never told any basis upon which his account was removed in the first place. He's not been told any basis for why his account has not yet been reinstated. In the interim, a fake Owen Schroyer, at Owen Schroyers, that uses his image, his name, pretends to be him, has been verified by Twitter, by X, despite it being known to X for some time that the guy's a fake. And there are people who interact with him believing it's actually Owen Schroyer. There's people who send personal information to him, believing he's actually Owen Schroyer. There's people who believe his statements are in the name of Owen Schroyer and have negative views about him because the guy will submit like porn and make outrageous statements and offensive statements and all that kind of thing. So it's a classic defamation, false invasion of privacy, false light claims, etc. And yet, despite legal letters, Twitter has done nothing about it, has refused to remove his account, remove his verification, even though Twitter said their official policy was they would not allow parody accounts that did not self-identify in clear terms as parody accounts, because that's identity theft. And remember, I mean, Musk is out there saying, pay me $8 a month for this, pay me $2 a month for this. Well, what are people paying for? And as he claims to be doing things he's not actually delivered on. So that's problem one. And of course, the screaming case is the case of Alex Jones. Who's on Rumble, who's not on Twitter. Big example, Alex Jones. Alex Jones is all an Owen Schroyer, easily on Rumble, not anywhere to be found on Twitter, while being subject to false light, invasion of privacy, and constant defamation claims using the tool of Twitter to do it. So that's Elon Musk's first big problem. Correlated to it, is George Gammon. George Gammon had his Twitter account repeatedly hacked and stolen by people who are not him, and who block communication to him, who pretend to be his account that previously was his account. Twitter refuses to fix it. Despite they keep telling him, oh, there's nothing wrong. He's like, what do you mean there's nothing wrong? This person is stealing contact information, other pieces of information to his economic harm. So it's clear Musk is failing on that side of the aisle as well. Then you have the constant complaint. Jay Bhattacharya, a bunch of the defeat the mandates. All the people in the public health space have been complaining now for quite some time that Musk is clearly suppressing their speech, or at least X is. And he again chose a CEO that came from corporate media America who went out and said, we're going to suppress reach. Well, free speech in the cancel culture context includes the right to reach. Indeed, it's the right of the audience to hear. That's what they're suppressing and censoring. So when he says we're just as committed to free speech as Rumble, that's just a lie, Elon. That's all that is. Now, maybe Elon doesn't know it's a lie. He should know it's a lie. I mean, it's kind of weird for him to complain about Russell Brand supporting Rumble when Rumble has been the number one supporter of Russell Brand. Mm-hmm. No, what was stopping Elon from weighing in on this? I mean, long earlier. He could have weighed in immediately. He could have publicly wrote the letter that Rumble sent. Rumble said, basically buzz off to the UK Parliament when they were saying, you better take Russell Brand off the air. Well, where was Musk? Or was he worried about those advertisers whose dollars he wants to defray his expensive cost? So if his goal was to get political currency with the conservative, with people on the right, on using the free speech banner to achieve it, and you could say the populist left, maybe he needs that currency because he's probably under criminal investigation by the Biden administration that's weaponizing everything against anyone they perceive as anything that isn't thoroughly, completely loyal to their regime. So he might have legitimate cause, but it's not a good way to get there by attacking the real ally against cancel culture in the public platform space, which is and remains Rumble.
Yeah, and I think he views Rumble as a competitor now that, well, he obviously does, but more so that they have ventured into long format video. I had my meme, Robert. You'll tell me if you like this. Hold on one second. Here it is. I said, this is Elon's real concern. And then I should not have included this part. I could have left it at Elon's real concern. And there you have Elon Musk with Tucker Carlson looking at Rumble. Because I remember when Tucker Carlson got yeeted from Fox, he said, I'm coming to Twitter. It's the free speech platform. And we're like, yeah, Tucker, what about Rumble? And now maybe, I don't know, maybe I was thinking Elon might be nervous that
as soon as Tucker is out of that contractual restrictions or that's resolved, which is likely the real reason he's only on Twitter for the time being, or primarily on Twitter. I mean, his stuff gets recirculated everywhere. He's clearly not asserting any copyright protection over these videos he's making. Is because Rumble is considered a potential competitor broadcaster platform to Fox in ways that Twitter is not. That's probably the real reason he's on Twitter. Musk wanted to pretend Tucker was on Twitter because Twitter was somehow the only space for Tucker's expression, when in fact it was the only space that wouldn't get him easily sued by Fox for the time being, is the probable explanation. My guess is it's only a matter of time before Tucker does align at some level with Rumble and have his stuff promoted on that platform. And it's clearly driving Musk a little nuts that the left wing that he identifies with on dissident speech, the Russell Brands, the Glenn Greenwalds, the Robert Kennedys, programs like Redacted and Kim Iverson, that all of these people are also on Rumble. That Rumble is not limited to the right-leaning side of the populist equation, but it's one of the primary places for all of those left speakers, including exclusive audiences with Glenn Greenwald's show, with Russell Brand's show, and several others along those lines. So it's clear that's what, it didn't bother them that Donald Trump Jr. was on Rumble so much. It bothered him that it probably bothers him some that Donald Trump Sr. is either on Truth or on Rumble. He's not on Twitter except one tweet ever so far since his so-called reinstatement by Musk. And as I said, that was unlikely to change because of how much money Trump has invested in Truth. But but I think the fact of who it came from, people he imagines he aligns with, the Joe Rogans of the world, if you will, that he's annoyed that Rumble has had success in that space in places he has not. But the other reality is nobody who's studied Elon Musk history could ever trust him. He's proven that again and again and again. I get the Muscovites up there love him, and I've made the arguments in his favor and made the arguments against him at vivabarneslaw.locals.com and a couple of Elon Musk hush-hushes. But his critics have a point. At the ultimate conclusion I would come away with in studying Elon Musk history is he's not a man I would ever trust to do the right thing over the long haul.
Now I think I understand why you repeat oftentimes that Tucker is not claiming copyright. If he's still under contract with Fox and he's allowed to do whatever he wants for free, but he can't claim copyright because that would be making money off his content. Now I understand it. Finally clicked, Robert, a little late.
And if the primary show is on Twitter, it's just a social media platform. It's not a competitor under the contract.
Very interesting. Everyone in the chat on Rumble, I yeeted a couple of clear spammers. Man, we got a lot of spammers tonight. Hold on. Xker8, I want to give that one a second chance because that might not be
probably
a spammer.
That fake. I mean, we said it sent a cease and desist letter to that fake fraud who's pretending to be Owen Schroyer, and all he does is continue to escalate his activity. So we'll find there are ways to get his identity. Sooner or later, we will get his identity. He'll be individually sued, and he'll have to write a big fat check.
I got another one. No, they're clear. It's funny. I don't think we've had this many spam bots ever. So that's a good sign. The other thing I was going to ask, Robert, it was about Elon Musk. And I think, it was Yacarino. And then speech, not reach for the advertisers. He undoubtedly.
And he said nothing about that, by the way. He keeps saying pretending he's pro free speech. But when people are like, hold on a second, what's going on here? I mean, I'll tell you, since she's taken over, my impressions have dramatically declined suddenly. So it's like it's back to where they were under Jack Dorsey. So when Musk first took over, all of a sudden my impressions went back to where they were before I sued Twitter. He was getting, go blowing up. I think I added like 25% new subscribers within 3 months. It was just boom. And then all of a sudden she takes over and everything flatlines. Impressions flatline, link clicks flatline. I mean, that's the other problem with Twitter. He wants to be the exclusive platform. So he's suppressing links. So if you go and try to look at where you're going to have success on a social media platform, referring people to another platform, he suppresses it. It's clear that the X is doing that deliberately because here's the problem. He wants exclusive control over everybody. He wants control over your content. He wants control over your identity. He wants control over your money. He's already made this clear what he really wants Twitter to be. He wants it to be what the Chinese are doing with its comparable WeChat and other programs, which could incorporate a social credit score. Well, why do you think he's applying for payment processing? So this is all of, and he's been trying to buy off and bribe certain people he can buy off and bribe because it's interesting who's getting paid by Twitter and who isn't. It's your Ian Shangs of the world. It's the kind of people who have a history, who have grifter tattooed on their forehead, and not in a complimentary way. So, whereas other people who are actually producing lots of content, somehow they're not getting any so it's financial support.
I've never talked about, I don't care about the monetization on Twitter. I just noticed one time I got the big check, or the first one, which I guess was for several months, and it's been halved every period. And it's like
they never wrote me one. It was thank you.
And not just that, Robert. Like I made a joke. Like I notice a massive amount of. I don't care about followers on Twitter. I just notice when the number goes down, and I'm curious as to why. Friday night when I put out a couple of tweets critical of Elon, down 2,000, and I don't care. But it is interesting as to whether or not there is some of the.
He's filled with bots. He hasn't fixed it. Remember, he came in saying he was going to fix the bot problem. It's got worse on Twitter. It hasn't got better. Still harangued by all the lunatics and the nuts. And then the other thing is he's got fake views. He's got to quit doing the fake views.
That's a problem.
So for those that don't know, what they did is they have changed. It used to be you had impressions and then views. Impressions is, you're just scrolling through your phone and it's one of the things in your feed, right? You don't know whether you really read it, review it, or anything. That's not a view. A view is click on it and you watch it, right? At least some portion of it. Well, he realized he could inflate his views by getting rid of views as a separate stat and just calling all impressions the same as views. That's why you'll see something like Tucker has 225 million people watch something. You have to figure out what that actually translates into views. It's usually less than 10%, and on average 5% as actually how many views. Now that's still good views for Tucker, but it's nowhere near what he's pretending it is. And then people who use Twitter to get referrals find it to be the least likely to link click because he's suppressing it because he doesn't want any competitors. And why doesn't he want any competitors, right? I mean, why not see Rumble as a place there could be a convergence of energy? It's because he wants a monopoly on your data and information, and so that he can utilize it for his own maximum economic and political purposes. That's who Elon Musk is. Peter Thiel at least admits it about himself. Peter Thiel says, look, when people are like, why isn't Peter Thiel backing a competitor? It's like, I'll tell you why. He said so. He said he's only interested in monopolies. He said that's what the great advantage of big tech is. It enhances monopolies. And so he's not interested in things that would go against the monopoly model. So the same is true of Musk. That's always been Musk's dynamic. And so is he creative? Yes. Is he independent? Yes. Is he funny? Yes. Is he a brilliant marketer? Yes. Is he trustworthy? Hell no.